Hey guys, welcome to the Greenhouse Podcast.
Where we share stories, ideas, and just have some good talks with a variety of people with different backgrounds.
So thanks for joining us, and let's get into it. Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 2. We are accompanied by Calmgrove.
The beautiful boys of Calmgrove. What
Yeah.
up?
Actually, we just drove on the street today.
Hey.
Mash today, and I was like,
Which one? I think there's a
There's
couple.
like 4 Calmgrove
There's one by
streets
us?
around
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Nice.
yeah, he's like, hey, you
Not
wanna
our
see
house
something?
anymore.
Not anymore.
Everybody congratulate Eric for moving into his new spot.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You live right like one street over from the Calmgrove in Glendora.
Yeah, you see, yeah.
Yeah. I know my dad was just like, oh man, they're empty nesters now.
Yeah.
Both the boys are gone.
I just stopped by there right now before I got.
Did your mom
came
make
here.
you like warm food?
She made me some like shrimp tacos. So she had them ready for me, and I was like, oh, I gotta get like the shirts for the guys, and like she's like, eat really quick, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's the best. It's an honor to have you guys in with us. We're all locals for the most part, you know, around this area, but you guys just make awesome music, and you guys are great friends, and we've loved to see what you guys, your journey so far. So thank you guys for coming in, making the time.
Yeah, dude. Of
course,
for
yeah.
having us here. Flattered, dude.
But yeah, I mean, we just want to talk about you guys and how you guys started and your guys' individual backgrounds and who you are as musicians and creatives. You know, obviously we're creatives in our own way too, and I don't know, I just been really interested in figuring out like from your guys' mindset as musicians and as creatives, and like your creative process. And I don't know, even hopefully I can take some inspiration from that and apply it to myself as well and my creativity. So I think that's going to be pretty cool, and
Yeah.
that's what we're going to be talking about.
Totally.
And
Let's actually kick it off. So we'll go this way. So I guess everybody, let me introduce everybody, and you guys can just put your hands up so the people in the back can see you. But this is Eric.
Oh, I forgot this is being filmed too.
Yeah.
Hello.
Tommy, Daniel, Sean, Mike, and then I'm Matt. But yeah, I'm really interested to know like where you guys came from, and like obviously music is a byproduct of what you guys have been able to do, but obviously you guys have your own stories, you guys have your own influences. So Eric, just kind of share like maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit of like your upbringing, what you listened to, how you kind of just felt like expressing yourself. Maybe, I don't know, something that many people may not know about you.
Basically, I was kind of exposed to like the whole emo pop punk at a pretty young age. My older brother showed me. I remember like seeing a Thrice CD in Jimmy Eat World, like in fifth or fourth grade.
Which Thrice? Which album?
The Illusion of Safety. Yeah, so one of my first songs from Thrice was See You in the Shallows, I think it's called. And I was on a mix CD, and I was like, damn, this is crazy. And then my brother made me more mixes, and then eventually he was like, hey, I'm starting a band with my friends. We need a bass player, so you got to play bass. So then that Christmas, I got my first like bass guitar. And yeah, I wanted to play guitar, and he was like, nope, I play guitar, you have to play bass. And so like I've been playing bass ever since. And then yeah, I mean, just always been into music since 4th, 5th grade. Middle school, I started my own bands, and then high school, obviously met some of these guys. And then me and Tommy and Daniel have been jamming for a while. And then Sean came in for this band. But yeah, just a lot of bands, a lot of trial and error. But definitely without my brother, I probably wouldn't have been as deep into music at an early age, maybe not even into it at all. I don't know. Yeah, he definitely influenced the road I was on, and I was like, okay, he likes this band, I like that band. And I like vividly remember like him watching like some Atreyu videos, and I was like, this music is scary. And I was like, but he likes it.
Atreyu scary?
Yeah, it was
When you're 6 years old?
dude, it was kind of scary. It was lip gloss, and I don't know what it's called, but like the one that's like live, love, burn, die, and like they're like moshing the video, and I was like, what is this? Like this is terrifying. But like I remember because my brother was tight with your brother Daniel, and I remember going to like one of your brother's shows too, and I was like, this is freaking scary too, because his like band was so like metal-y when I was like in 6th grade, and I was like, damn, this is scary. But yeah, that's basically like how I got into it.
That's so interesting to hear, because I almost had the same upbringing.
Yeah.
But like with my brothers, because I grew up on like Sailsin and Census Fail.
Yeah,
and like
all those bands.
All those bands. And like Atreyu, and Same thing. Like at first, I was kind of just like, "Oh, my big brothers like
Yeah.
it, you know. Let me see."
I think like honestly, Seosin was probably one of the first bands that like I legit liked with like a lot of screaming. I was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, actually, I would agree.
Like, cause I liked Atreyu and like I was trying to get into like Between the Buried and Me Too, but it was just too heavy at the time. And then like when I heard,
Well, the cool thing about Seosin is they
Yeah.
kind of paved almost another subgenre on their
no,
own.
definitely, yeah. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Like I can get into like this like aggressive breakdown-ish music that's not as heavy, but
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like from first to last year, that's when I kind of like I think it was 7th or 8th grade when I was like, okay, like this is cool. I can get
Dude,
into
I
these
remember
bands.
watching the Note to Self video
Yeah.
playing, and I was just like, "What the fuck is this?" Because I don't really watch like scary movies or horror movies,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Dude, the production that went into this."
and like the twitching and the glitchiness of them. I always love that scene when it's like the dual vocal part and like I think it's like on some sort of like wheel cam, but then it like goes back and forth from both of them doing dual
Oh
vocals.
yeah.
In the hallway.
Note to Self.
Yeah. I was like, ooh, that's a sick on a
Hell yeah.
views all the time.
So your brother just told you what you liked, and he
Yeah.
honestly he probably knew you more than anybody. He's like,
yeah,
oh,
he
cool.
put me on like Taking Back Sunday was my still my favorite band, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
so much Taking Back Sunday, so much Thursday. He showed me AFI and I ran with AFI for a little while, and then after a while I was like, I can't continue with AFI that much anymore. Just wasn't into it that much.
Yeah.
But as a bass player, AFI was like the shit for
Yeah.
me. And and then after that I kind of just found the whole more scene music, and my brother was kind of not into that, so then we kind of like parted ways with that music stuff. But then eventually it all came full circle, and I kind of show him bands now and he shows me bands, and yeah.
Nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. What about you, Tommy?
So I mean, music's always been around in my life. Like my mom always kept it around. Like early rock bands I listened to through my mom were like the Eagles and stuff like that, Beatles. But I didn't really start getting into like pop punk until like 5th grade when I moved out here. That's like when I found out about like Blink-182 and stuff.
Where did
like
you live
that.
before that?
Before that, like Alhambra, Santa Monica, Chinatown, all over the place. But I grew up listening to like mainstream, like Kiss FM stuff. So a lot of like hip hop, R&B, Usher, and like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like the bands that would slip through, like the Foo Fighters or like Linkin Park. Linkin Park was like the big one that started getting me into heavy music. And then Blink-182, of course. Yeah. And then, one of my buddies in middle school got a drum kit. I was kind of just like, yeah, I'll play with you. I just picked up a guitar, try to learned a lot of Blink songs, and that's kind of what got me into pop punk.
Honestly, dude, I feel like learning Blink songs is one of the best ways to like learn guitar in the beginning, because they're just power chords the whole time, or like picking power chords or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like the speed and stuff, like
Yeah.
the earlier Blink songs are like faster, harder.
Yeah.
But yeah, then middle school we mostly just played like rock music, and then high school, like Eric said, that's when we started a few different bands.
I feel like we went like everywhere in the genre. Like we had the screamo, and then we went a little bit harder into like the more metal-ish type of music.
Even
and
like this screamo band had like a pop punk song.
yeah.
So yeah, it was funny.
Who would you say your favorite guitarist, or a couple guitarists that you really fuck with their
Dang, that's tough.
style?
Like in high school, I like was super into the guitarist from Chiodos.
Oh yeah.
Actually, Jason Hale, he got me into like pedals and stuff like that. But now I don't know I should know their names, but like guitar work wise, I'd say Circa Survive.
Dude.
I love their guitar.
I was just about to say Circa. I would say Circa for me, and was it Swan? Who's
Will Swan
Will Swan.
from Dance Gavin Dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah, he's good.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I like their guitars. I like the Knuckle Puck guy that sings. I feel like he writes some cool guitars.
Sick. I've always aspired to be better at guitar than I currently am, but I could never stay disciplined enough to craft my own sound or get super technical with it.
I mean, I try to pick it up, a guitar a little bit like acoustic and stuff, but I just never was consistent.
Acoustic guitar is hard to play when you're starting. It's like
yeah.
the fretboard feels a lot
Hurts your
more like
fingers.
My fingers were like
yeah. I learned on
nails.
electric guitar
Yeah.
exclusively when I started.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people start from acoustic. 'cause
Exactly,
you don't
and
need
it's
the gear.
discouraging.
Yeah, it's because my
yeah,
oldest
for sure.
brother, that's all he will play. Like he grew up playing guitars, electric guitars, and everything, but one of the main guitars he always had was acoustic. So that's what I always kind of like. Oh, and he was good at it, so I was also looking up to him. So I was like, I want to play guitar too, but I was okay. Like I could play a couple chords and stuff and be good at it, but never like too into it. I couldn't.
Hats off to you, Tommy.
Yeah.
I love the tones that you make and the leads that you make. They're so super tasteful.
Cool, thanks.
Oh yeah. Daniel, what about you, man?
Pretty similar to Eric's like upbringing, almost like an identical upbringing, and the same as you. My brother was like the musician in the family. I'm like 10 years younger than him. So he grew up like playing music, and of course when you're young you like look up to your big brother, you know. So he spent like his whole life, early days, high school, playing music, and he was actually in a pretty notable band when he was in high school. They were called the Crimson. They had like a lot of, like I said, notoriety around. And I think when I was in like 5th grade or 4th grade, I went to one of their shows at the Whiskey A Go-Go. I forget which one it is. But I remember seeing them play, and like they had a huge crowd. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, that's like my big brother up there. This is so cool. Like the whole entire club is like going crazy for them. And it was kind of from that point I knew like, man, I want to play music. And like I think it was literally the next day I asked him to teach me to play guitar. And he taught me like all the basics and stuff and how to play, let me always use his guitars. And then like you were saying, like I think it's funny how you said when you were like, oh, a good way to learn guitar is by like learning Blink songs, because that's exactly how I taught myself how to play guitar. Well, I wouldn't say I taught myself, my brother taught me, but from that point I like literally learned the Enema of the State album, like every song on it. That's how I would practice guitar, was just like playing those songs all the time. But yeah, I owe a lot of my credibility to my brother, because he was like the one who got me into the scene and like showed me that, wow, this is like how I want to be, is kind of like him and stuff. And he got me into a lot of the music into early. Like the 3 first bands I was ever into like religiously were Blink-182, Sublime, and AFI. So I would spend like all my time listening to those bands, learning how to play their songs. And I remember one of the first music videos I saw, like how Eric said the Alisana music video scared him, was I think it's the Leaving Song Part 2 by AFI, where all those people are moshing.
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's
I remember seeing that, and that changed me. Like I had already been changing from when I was like listening to Blink, but then I saw that, and I remember like asking my brother and my older sister, like, what are these people doing?
Yeah.
Like, is this what people?
That's a sick video too.
It's a sick
Yeah,
video, because
dude.
that's when like that style of hardcore dancing like first ever came to the scene. You know, like no one was really doing that at shows.
At least
but
not like here. I feel like at least what I was seeing too. Like I remember I was like, holy shit, what is that?
yeah, exactly. And that really put me onto like a whole another side of music I didn't even know existed. But yeah, so pretty much I started just playing guitar from then. I knew that I wanted to be really good at guitar, but like you were saying, it was really discouraging at first. Like I was awful for the first 3 months, but I just kept trying and trying until at one point I realized like, wow, I'm getting a lot better. And then I made my 2 cousins that I have, like, I made one of them get a drum set. I told him, like, I want to start a band, buy a drum set. And then he did. And then I told my other, like, I literally told them, I said, get a drum set.
yeah.
And then I told my other cousin, buy a bass and let's start a band. And then we did, and we played, like, shows, like, every now and then. And it was just, like, a little band, you know. We were, like, literally, like, 13. But after that, like, we just stopped playing music because, like, they were growing out of it. They didn't want to be musicians. But what's funny is that I've always felt like, because I'm actually, like, 4 years younger than Tommy and Eric. And, like, I've always been, like, the younger one. Because I felt like when they were in high school and stuff, the scene was, like, pretty strong. And there was, like, a lot of musicians. But then after they graduated, or, like, even before that, I felt like that there was a drop-off. There wasn't kids that many that were my age who were, like, into that style of music, like, at all. So that's why I've always been in bands with them and stuff, and people that are older than me have always been like the youngest one in the band and stuff. But yeah, I've just been, since I think started playing guitar when I was 12. Yeah, and pretty much just sticking to guitar because I just love it. I wish that I tried playing other instruments. Like I would love to know the piano and stuff and things
That's
like
my
that.
favorite instrument.
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
say that's the instrument I connect to the most.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like I actually put in some time to like try to teach myself.
Yeah, it's so beautiful, and like it's just like, I mean, it's never too late, but man,
Yeah.
I just wish I took it up earlier to expand my musicianship and stuff. But yeah, like I said, I owe like pretty much all of my music credibility to my brother. He's actually like he's a really good music producer. He's pretty successful too. Like he just worked on this girl's album in Mexico that just went platinum, so it was like
Whoa.
a huge deal for him. Yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, like I think about that. Like, you know
Shout
how
out to
many
Adrian.
records? Yeah, you know how many records he had to sell for that. So like, it was so inspiring
Dang.
for like.
So
me
he
to
went
see
that route then. So he went to do more of the producing side.
Yeah, he was in a bands like forever, and then at some point when he graduated, he went to a Musicians Institute in Hollywood, and then he learned how to do like audio technology there. And what's funny is now, if you ask him, he says one of his biggest regrets in like recording and music producing in his career is going to MI and like going to a year and like not
Because it
not
took
waste
because it took a year off when he could
yeah
have been
not
doing stuff.
wasting
Yeah.
time, but he just said
Like
that
maybe he could have got an internship and just learned that way.
exactly.
Too.
I remember him telling me that he wishes that he would have just immediately started working for someone who was an established audio engineer instead of going to school for it and stuff.
Dude,
But
I feel that way about film school, bro.
yeah, exactly.
I feel that way about college, honestly.
Huh.
Yeah.
Dang, that can go down a whole nother way.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's
I think
could do a whole nother podcast for that.
Daniel-
That next episode.
Daniel, I will say the fact that you said that you fell in love with guitar and that's your thing. I'll say I remember when I first met you when we were doing the Misery shoot, and I saw you playing and feeling so comfortable and like vibe. You did these like Michael Jackson like humps. I don't know what that was, and you spin around and then like kick down and
Was that the first? Was Misery the first video?
yeah,
we took it?
yeah. I remember seeing that. I was just like, okay, this guy knows his zone, and he's just straight vibing. Me, when I play, I'm pretty stiff because I'm thinking so technical, but like you're just in straight bliss. So I think you're in the right place you need to be.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
then like Eric was saying, the first band I was in with my cousins, but after that, the first like real band I was ever in was with Eric. We were in this band when I was like a sophomore in high school, and it was funny because I was like so much younger. I was a sophomore. He was graduated. The other guitar player was like in his late 20s. And I remember literally, I'd be in school and Eric would text me like, "Oh, the guys are trying to practice." So like, I would leave high school like at break or
He would like
lunch.
literally ditch. I'd be like, "Hey, we're gonna come pick you up," and like he would be like, "Okay," and like the guys would be like, "He's too young." I'm like, "No, but he's gonna come watch." And we would literally park outside the school, and Daniel would just like run out.
Like all sketchy, like in a van at the park across
Yeah.
the school, and then I would be like just ditching school halfway through.
They're like Daniel's doing drugs. You're like, no, I'm doing music.
Yeah, exactly. Like people would be like, "Why are you always leaving and stuff?" But
Like, why are you staying?
I think like yeah, and then I want to say like every band after that I've been in with you.
yeah, with Tommy and Eric, we've pretty much been in like every band since like the last 7 years together.
When you find something that works.
We really, but with Calmgrove, we really struck gold. We felt like this is it. Like we were meant to
Yeah,
form Calmgrove.
We were like building up, and then when we found it, we're like, this is it.
Yeah,
and then we
like,
found
like Eric
like,
said, trial and error. We learned a lot of stuff with other bands,
Yeah.
how not to approach it, how to approach it, who to bring in the band, who to keep around and stuff, and who to make connections with, like people like you guys and stuff.
Yeah.
That we learned is going to take us to where we want to go ultimately.
Sick.
Love that.
And then that's when you guys met Sean.
that leads us to Shawnee.
Take it away, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't have quite the same, I guess, journey as these guys. I didn't start playing in bands until I was 19. When I was in high school, I was always, a pop punk kid. I think the first band that I got into that I listened to religiously is Green Day. Like I listened to Dookie, like I had a tape. That's how long ago this was. I had a Dookie tape and I used to listen to it in my room. But yeah, like I listened to that religiously. And then I remember the first time that I heard, Blink on the radio, or when I heard Fat Lip by Sum 41, I was just kind of like, okay, like this is like Green Day, but like a little bit more energetic, like a little bit more fun, not so polished, But throughout high school, I played sports, and that was something that was like really important to me. So although I had a lot of friends in bands, and I listened to music and I went to shows all the time, I just didn't play in bands. Part of the reason why, though, to be honest, was I didn't think that I could learn to play. I think that I just thought like, oh, like I don't have that talent, so I'm just a fan.
So you were like, let me start with bass.
Those who can't do play bass.
Play bass.
Yeah, there you go. But then after high school, I specifically remember the day that I like became, in a band. I was at like a homecoming football game at high school, and my buddy Ryan, who prints most of our merch, he came to the game and saw me, and he's like, hey, like, what have you been up to? And I'm like, just going to school, wrestling, doing my thing. And he's like, my band's practicing right now, and I know that like you used to kind of like sing or whatever, like we need a singer. Do you want to like come jam with us? So I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. So went over there, and it was decent enough, I guess, because they were like, yo, you want to be in our band? So I joined the band, and then shortly after that, maybe a couple months later, we recorded an EP that exists somewhere with me singing on it. So if we can find that.
Whoever knows where that is,
The
please,
archives.
please call us.
It's on MySpace somewhere. Huh?
It probably is on MySpace somewhere. But then after, we kind of made a decision as a band that like, this isn't really working. I'm not the greatest singer. So right around that same time, the bass player had quit the band. So they were like, hey, so we want to try and find a different singer. Do you want to learn how to play bass? And like I said, for me, I was like, I'm not just going to like learn. What do you mean? Like you either know or you don't know, you know what I mean? But I really wanted to be in a band. So I went to Guitar Center the next day, I bought a bass, bought an amp, and started playing the Dookie record, started playing, Blink-182 records, started playing New Fungoid records, just anything that I could to kind of teach myself. Eric always laughs at me because I sound check to Dance Dance, but that's one of the songs that I like first learned how to play bass on.
I'm like, here it comes. Here it comes.
But yeah, so that's when I first got into like playing in bands, and I know that like the first time I went to Warped Tour, I think I kind of knew that I wanted to be in a band. I just, like I said, I had other priorities at the time. I remember going to Warped Tour '99 and walking in and being like, what the hell is this?
At Pomona Fairplex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that year, Green Day played, Papa Roach played. It was crazy. It was just like changed my life. Yeah. But yeah, so that was kind of for me was like, okay, one day I'm going to do this kind of thing. And then after that, just, started playing different punk, like pop punk bands locally and making friends. And I think the biggest thing, I think these guys kind of alluded to in the early stages of the bands they were in. It's like you find local musicians a lot of times and, people are kind of into it for the wrong reason, whether it be I like being in a band because it's cool to be popular, or I like being in a band because we party after, or I like being in a band for whatever reason. So I think for me, it just kind of, was in a lot of different bands because I'd kind of be the only guy that was like, okay, like we need to pay for production and we need to make sure that we get the right photographer and we need to do this correctly. And I think a lot of times it would get to a certain point and everyone would be like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore or whatever. And then, got into a few bands, did a little bit of touring, nothing too crazy. And then, these guys reached out to me. I know Eric through my girlfriend. So just one of those things that he hit me up on Instagram and was like, hey, dude, like we need a bass player, like come jam with us. So he came down, jam with them. And I think, outside of the music and being really into the style of music, I think the biggest thing for me was just knowing that like they had their heads on straight and they knew what they wanted and they were going to work hard for it. And it wasn't just going to be like, oh, we're just doing this for fun or we're just doing this because, we like being in a band, but more so like we're passionate about music and we want to make it something that we're going to be doing moving forward. So, so I stuck around.
That's cool, man. I mean, it kind of seems like you guys are all on that same vibe. So I think maybe that's why it just fit perfect with you.
Totally,
and
yeah.
your mindset.
I think like we knew within like the first like 15 minutes of like jamming with Sean, we're like, cool, like the vibe's right, and we felt like we could like move forward.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that you're like that. I guess not in a way you were checking us or like seeing how serious we were, because I feel like the same thing. Like I already like because we played that show together at Malone's.
Yeah.
When you were in a hardcore band.
Mm-hmm.
Really? You guys?
Yeah.
So. So like, and I saw Tori there, so I was like, "Oh, how are you here?" So like, I knew that you were there, and then like I saw your gear, and like I feel like that's like kind of a thing.
I remember right before he came in, he was like, "Yeah, he has good gear, like so that's a good."
Tommy's such a gear guy, dude.
But like you kind of just know. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
kind of like how you dress for like a job interview or like at work too. It's like your gear is like kind of I don't want to say it's a reflection on you, but it's kind of like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like you're really invested.
At times though,
into
because
it.
you can't. I've seen like drummers who have
Yeah,
amazing drum sets.
I'm not trying to be a
that can't
snob,
play
but
it
like
for
you know what I mean.
shit.
Like if you kind of take pride in what you're using,
absolutely.
and you know
Yeah.
you want to,
Yeah.
I don't know, you know.
If you got a $1,200 instrument, you're taking it serious.
Yeah, unless you like making like shitty ass sounding music, then go by all means.
I mean, but there's those things though. Like we say that, and I think of like, was it Death from Above? Like he intentionally plays like a really old, crappy bass amp because of the way that it sounds.
True.
You know.
Because of that natural distortion.
Yeah.
Dang, what gear was it?
I mean, it's the same stuff I have now. Pretty much.
It was just like, it was a legit Music Man bass.
Okay.
It's like a $1,200 bass. There's a orange amp in there.
And you had that cab.
Black label cab. I was like, this guy's got like a $2,000, like at least $2,000 put into
You're
it.
describing like saying like a beautiful woman. You're like,
It's like, yeah, she takes it serious.
Yeah, I remember the first time when we jammed with Sean. It's funny how you saying you wanted to know like if our heads were on straight. I remember like we talked about, because we went to the bar after we jammed for the first time.
Rude dogs.
And then Sean maybe asked us like one question about what the plans were like musically, and then immediately it was like wanted to know what we did for work and like what our
Yeah.
plans were. It was like his first
Yeah, he
meeting.
asked us like, he was
All
like,
right,
you
so
got
what
a
do you guys
401k
work?
or what?
it was like no, dude. He totally was like dating you guys and just like
He was like, what's
And
your
I-
credit score?
And I was just like delivering pizza at the time. So I was like, what can I do? Like, I don't know. Like,
He like reaches into his bag, he pulls out a list. All right, so you guys got this going on? All right, cool. Check it off.
yeah, or like or like dating your daughter or something like that. So what are your intentions with me? But I think it's definitely like that though, especially like obviously I think music is probably that one art form and that one medium I think just literally like connects with everybody. I think it's like probably one of the strongest things that we all connect with.
It's universal.
Yeah, so I think you can have a whole bunch of like feelings about it, but I think actually committing and like making music together is a whole nother thing, you know?
Yeah,
I think
totally.
it's great that you guys are all on that same page as far as like your passion, both on the creative side and the having fun side and like the business side. And I think it speaks because you guys have popped off, man. How long has it been since you guys started this beautiful marriage together?
like fall of 2018, summer, spring.
Spring of 2018. We
2018
were
for
like
sure.
grinding on it for a little while, like under wraps,
Yeah.
but like officially, like it was March 2018.
Yeah, privately like 2.5 years, publicly like
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we shot our first music video in like
End of 2017.
end of 2017 and didn't get released like March too. So we were
March of 2018.
yeah, but yeah. So I guess you could say like 2.5 years.
What held you guys back, I guess, from going public?
We kind of, because we recorded our first 3 songs with Daniel's brother Adrian, and I remember like just like recording them, and then we were like kind of just discussing in between takes like, what are we gonna do? Like, what's the plan? And the whole idea of like, yo, let's just roll them out as singles like came up, and we're like, okay, like then we could do a video for each song and really concentrate on releasing each song individually and giving it a really good push. And so we were like, okay, like when's the first one gonna drop? And then we're like, let's shoot a video. And then like we shot a video. We wanted to make sure we had like some press for it too, and really get it out there. And it kind of just took months to solidify. So yeah, it just kind of like was just preparation. Like we were sitting on those songs for like almost a year before.
We could have just released them, but
Yeah.
there was just a lot of thought that went into it from having done other bands. Like, as a new band, we can kind of not control, but influence other people's like perception of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So we were just like, let's shoot a legitimate video. They'll already think
Yeah.
that we're legitimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are being very intentional with every little detail.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, obviously they sometimes it can hurt to be a perfectionist, but sometimes it's very, very beneficial.
It was like a goal of ours to literally have people like want like kind of be curious about us even before we dropped any music. So we were doing a bunch of teasers, whether it was like studio little clips or even the teasers from the video. Like we did like I think up until the day before the release, like we didn't release any sound bits from the music video. And so like one of them was like super melodic and ambient, and people were like, "Oh, what type of band are you?" And then like we released like a bridge from the song, and they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like you guys kind of sound like Knuckle Puck." And then we're like, "Yeah, I guess you could say that." And so then they like heard the song, and then it just kind of like snowballed from there, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it was super funny. I know that like a lot of my personal friends that have like been following me as a musician for a while were like, I just want to know what it sounds like. So it was really cool to like, once we did put it out, that they didn't hear it and be like, wow, you guys teased us for that.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Yeah.
cool that they
Which
were
was
like, wow, it's
super like
actually really
nerve
good.
wracking
Yeah,
too,
that's-
because you're like hyping something up for so long, and then you're like, man, I hope they like it.
I hope it's good.
Well, you guys weren't wrong, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't know if I could do that, especially like sitting on it for like a year or whatever. Honestly, that's a big, I think,
It was-
testament to the fact that you guys even stuck around. Because
Yeah.
I feel like if I don't know, maybe some people
It
would
must
just
have,
be
we
like,
must have had those 3 songs done in August or September of 2017, right?
Yeah, well, besides our first song, "Lifelong," was actually the last song that we wrote
Yeah.
of the first 3. Our second song, "Retrace," that one was written like 5 years ago.
That beginning riff too, I probably wrote that in like 2014.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
And then Keep Close was a song that we just brought in from the other band that just didn't pan out.
We also went through a member change like really early in the band, like before we even played our first show.
Couldn't find a drummer.
Yeah.
And then we couldn't find a drummer. Once we found a drummer, we couldn't find a show. No one would book us. Like no one would
Nope.
freaking book us.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, our first 2 shows were just with our buddy of ours that was just filling in essentially.
Yeah.
dang. I mean, all you guys were kind of earlier saying how someone asked you, "Oh yeah, jam with me." Or, I have always had the hardest time finding people to jam with. I'm like, I would even tell this guy all the time. I was like, "Bro, buy electric guitar. Please make music with me. I can't make it alone." And for you guys, it's just like, "Hey, want to be a front man?" I mean, shit.
I mean, not gonna lie, it was hard to find. We couldn't find a singer because I was playing bass, and we just couldn't find one. And so, like, I was like, okay, here's this lifelong idea. And Tommy was like, "All right, like, cool, like that's not bad." I was like, "Fuck it." Like,
Yeah,
Hey, sometimes you just need that though to bounce
Yeah.
off somebody, and then you just commit to an idea.
yeah, it was definitely weird. Not gonna lie. But then we found Sean, and then
Yeah, I totally like forget that sometimes. Like when we started the band, essentially it was just like us 3, and Eric was the bass player, and we were like weighing out our options for singers. And then I remember Eric literally told me one time, like, "It's just pop punk music, dude. I think I can do it."
I was like, how hard could it be? Like,
Yeah, and
I'm
he
just
said
kind
that-
of yelling, and on those like 3 first demos, like I feel like you can literally tell that I'm just literally
Yeah, but
yelling every line.
That's
like,
that's what I was gonna say. That he definitely started, and like listening to our music, you could hear his growth. So to hear from him saying, "I think I can do it," because it's just pop punk music, but to where we are now, and with our new music that hasn't been heard, like I will say, like Eric's growth as a singer has totally like skyrocketed, and I would like honestly say like maybe now he's like one of the better singers that I personally know. So
bro.
Awesome.
I appreciate that. No, and honestly, like these guys in the studio too are like always like helping out too. So
But
it
did you-
takes a village.
Did you hear that, Matt?
What?
New music?
Hell, oh,
Secret
dude.
music?
secret music.
Yeah, when are we getting the backstage sneak? Show us your goods.
we have like
We have a lot of demos.
we have a lot of really rough demos.
That is
some,
like one of the
garage
benefits
band
of
demos.
quarantine, I
Like,
guess you could say, is that we like didn't take any time off. We were like, yeah, let's just keep writing and getting ready for when it's ready to be safe and play.
Dude, saying that, how have you guys been able to combat that? Obviously, I know like obviously shows aren't happening. We were at your guys' release show right before quarantine happened.
That was like a
awesome.
week before
That was
the like
fire,
world
dude.
shut down. Yeah, that show. I always say that to everybody that like we had that bar. We were at DBA. I don't know if you guys have ever been there before
No,
that.
not before.
But I always tell everyone like I had never seen that many people in that bar before, and like literally a week later is when everything shut down. So I'm always like telling everyone as a joke, like, man, we probably like gave people COVID.
We did not
we
do
should
that.
not have
We
been
did
having
not
that
do that.
show. We did not do that. But if you want to think about it, like if people knew
No,
what we
honest-
knew, we shouldn't have been
Nobody
having
knew.
those
But the thing
shows
is too,
before.
like when we were trying to book it, I think originally we had it for that week after. So who knows if we like if plans stuck the way they did? Who knows if we would have even played
It
that
was a
show?
great last show that we played.
Yeah, it was a great night.
Yeah,
We got a lot of
it
good
was
bands,
my
too.
first show seeing you guys, and Matt kept
Really?
bringing it up to me, and I couldn't make it up. I couldn't make the pastime, so I was like, oh, we gotta make this one, and Dude,
It was
that show
fun. It was fun
awesome.
too because you always have those friends like, oh, come check my band out. You're like, for sure. And then like,
Oh yeah. Oh, we know. Oh, we know.
and you know the songs, you know
Yeah.
the lyrics. But I was legitimately fanboying. It was so I felt so weird
No, that's all
because
because you worked with us, so it's like those
but
are
I didn't
my
know if it was
guys.
like the beers that we had or what. But I was just like, when we were talking to you guys at the merch table, we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go on. And once I saw you guys getting ready, I was just like, look, it's Eric. Look, it's Tommy.
Bro, we've known each other since like
I remember that show too. I don't know if you guys like felt this way, but that night I was stressing because all the other bands all the other bands we had played that night were great. Like, so we handpicked all those bands because they're such good bands. But the show was just running like incredibly late.
Yeah.
And like I was getting so stressed.
I think we were
that
supposed to
no
play
one,
like at 10:30 and we didn't go on until like
like
midnight,
11:30.
or maybe I'm close to that. And we
Yeah.
were like, crap, like are people gonna stay?
Yeah, that's.
And blah,
I was
blah.
just like so worried if people were gonna stay. I remember even kind of like rushing the bands that were playing. Like, hey, like come on, you guys need to
Shout
start.
out to those bands that cut a song or two.
Yeah, we had to like tell some bands to cut a song, but like, and I remember our other friend, Alex was there. He's in this band Saturday, and I remember telling him how like I was stressed, and he's like, dude, like, don't even stress. Like everyone that's here tonight's here to see you guys, and like sure enough, like everyone stayed. We still had like the biggest crowd that night. So like, I don't know why I was stressing, but
that
I
show
was
was really cool
stressed.
because like it was like a proper celebration too of like the EP that like we literally have been working on since like even when we were releasing Lifelong and Retrace, like we already had those EP songs like done. So like they were in our archives for so long, and
Yeah.
like we're like finally able to put them out at a show where people have already heard them on like the EP
Yeah,
and whatnot. Because for the longest time we were playing those same songs, but like no one knew the words, no one knew anything.
Yeah.
If you go on YouTube, you can literally hear like 5 different versions of Shade and Misery with different choruses.
I mean, I guess how was that experience for all of you guys? Like, all those people like literally dancing and jumping up and down, singing.
that
your
was probably my
lyrics.
favorite show I played. I would throw Emo Night up there just because that was a fun experience, but the crowd and stuff wasn't even close to compared to that EP release show. But that was definitely
No, that
it's
show
probably
was
my favorite
like
show I've ever played.
I don't know, it was like kind of like validation, like cool, like people like our music.
Yeah, definitely.
We're starting to get like at least like people like not just our friends, like but like people that just like our music that are coming out. And now it's like, dude, like we can't wait to show them the new stuff too. It's like
It's
it's
yeah,
evolving.
you know what I think about too is like, it's funny how because that was like a really good show. Like if COVID had never happened, we could have been riding that momentum. More people want to
Yeah.
come see us. But like Eric was saying, we've like benefited in a way from COVID. That sounds bad to say, like we benefited away, but like being
You guys
in
did the best
quarantine
with what you
Yeah.
and
have.
having time to
Yeah.
like really assess what we want to do and having time to like plan stuff has kind of actually really helped us. Because like if you think about it, we like signed a record deal in the middle of COVID.
Dude,
and all that.
congratulations,
Congrats
by the
on
way,
that, guys.
guys. We were so
Thanks,
happy
bro.
to hear that, man.
Yeah, so like all we've been able to do now is really just promote our music, and that's it.
Get ready for
But yeah, we've definitely had a lot of time to like, you know, make videos and stuff and like make new merch, which we've been really writing from and work on our new music that we have to come out and stuff.
sick.
Hell yeah. Honestly, guys, I think it's, I don't know. We've always connected with you guys because we've always sensed that you guys, honestly, are like friends first, but like legit people. Like, I don't know. We feel the intention in what you guys want to do and what you guys do. And your music is fun, but then the lyrical content is also like really meaningful. And you guys are just honestly down to earth people. So, I don't know. I think, especially with us, you know, we have the filmmaking company, and honestly, it's really dope that I went to school with you, Eric, because that's how you connected with me, and then
That's how you guys met?
yeah,
Kapali?
Dude, no, we went
no.
to high school
Charter
together.
Oak.
But then we also like our parents live right on the corner for each other. It was
Yeah.
so random. I was studying for one of like my teaching tests at Coffee Bean, and he pulls up and I'm like, "Oh, what's up, Matt? Like, haven't seen you in a minute." And then he's like, "Yo, you like, what are you up to? Like, how's your band?" And he was like, "I'm doing this like wedding photography thing." He's like, "We want to do a music video."
What stages was this in of Calmgrove? Like
This
what
was right
era?
after I Keep Close. Or I think it was before Keep Close, but then we went to Tagar because Tagar's availability was a little bit better. And then I was like, yo, like, let's shoot our next video. And then he was
shot
like, yeah.
Misery, yeah.
And then we did Misery, and like, we were like, yo, like, this is our guy. Like,
that was
Sick.
that was awesome, man. Because I think we got to, because like I said, you always hear, oh yeah, come check out my band.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's hard to just kind of commit and actually give it a
Yeah.
listen. But when we actually really got to hear your guys' music, I was really stoked because I also don't feel like that sound has. You guys do definitely have a sound that's constantly evolving, but it sounds, I don't know, as weird, cheesy as it sounds like Calmgrove, and it's just like, I will go specifically for that sound. which I think is why
That's
people
awesome.
stayed
Thank
for
you.
that like release.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I would kind of piggyback off that because the first song I heard from you guys when we shot the music video for you guys, that was the
Yeah.
first song, and I was listening, and I was like, yeah, like
Nice.
I already got hooked, and I was like, yeah, I'm for sure gonna be listening.
We
to
would just
them,
be
and
hanging around and we'd just be like, light on your edge.
specifically just that part, just singing it over and over and
We
over.
would change N to like other words, and, you know?
A little Mad Libs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Nice.
mean, and obviously that whole video shoot was super fun.
So
and
fun.
I vibed with all you guys, and like, I don't know, when you're just working with people like that are on the same kind of
No, and
even
honestly,
creative level, like in the
yeah.
same kind of vision, and allowing us to kind of even imply our own creativity into your guys' vision, and when all that kind of just meets up, it's like it clicks.
And it makes it so much easier too when I'm like
Yeah.
we'll like brainstorm like, oh, like we're gonna do a video like this, and then I'll shoot it to you guys. We're like, hey, like can we do this idea? And then we'll like feedback to it, and it's just
Yeah.
so easy to bounce off ideas.
Yeah.
But then I was telling, and we talk about it all the time too. It's like it's not just us five. Like we have a team. Like we have you guys. Our boy Juan is always with us, like running photos. Johnny's a great assistant too, and helps us with like songwriting. And then Greg too, with all his content as well. Like we have a village of people that are like
Yeah.
helping us, like, and then we're helping them in return.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we're here
it's
for
like
you guys.
we're like a unit just trying to help like everyone that's helped us. You know what I mean?
And one thing I do appreciate about you guys too, you guys are not scared to like even go for the crazy video ideas that we come up with. Like
No,
when we
we
see
like it.
visually in our head, you guys are just like, that's it. Do
Oh
it.
no,
go
yeah,
for it.
I remember Eric telling me about like the give and take idea, being like, you know what, let's just have it like a whole story base. Like these guys like have a really cool idea they want to do with some input that
Yeah.
Eric gave you guys, and I had no problem with it. Like just from working you guys with Mizra, I was like, dude, I can totally trust whatever they do. And like even if I wasn't in Calmgrove, I would say that music video is one of the like visually one of the coolest things. Like
I
I've
love that
seen,
video.
You know?
I think the video is so freaking cool.
Yeah, they're like some of those shots, and they're like when the guy's looking in the mirror and it's the reflection on the back. I was like blown away. Like I couldn't believe it was my band's music video. You
Dude,
know?
I remember when we talked about the idea, then we were doing it, whatever, and then I was like, okay, there's all these like this represents this, and then they start off never looking at each other because they haven't met to that point, and then in the bridge of the song when it slows down, they finally can see each other, but they can't touch. You know, I was like, that's like a metaphor. And then I remember when you were, oh look, the reviews are in for the music video. I remember like reading and stalking. I'm like, I wonder if anyone actually like caught on that. And then there was one guy where he was just like, maybe I'm digging too deep into this, but blah blah blah. I was like, yes.
Those people are funny.
Yeah, I mean,
That's like it's dope though too.
It's dope, though.
because like I don't know, like everyone, whether it's like the video interpretation or like the lyrical content interpretation too, it's like it's whatever you want it to mean. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's whatever you feel. And
we love that though. That's part of our mantra. You know, we really value collaboration. So, you know, I think you guys, again, that only speaks a testament of like what Calmgrove is able to do.
Also, I just want to say, one of my favorite parts when you guys were playing live is we were just having a conversation and I wasn't fully paying attention to you guys. And then shout out C3's in the house. All of us were just like, hell yeah, fuck yeah. I was like, that's
dude.
us. That's us.
Yeah. See, we love you guys. No, we were all pumped that you guys made it out too. And yeah, shout out to anybody who else made it to that show. That was fun.
I guess
Actually, Esteban was there too.
Yeah, Bumble.
Heck yeah.
yeah.
It's called Bon.
Bon Bon.
Bon. He makes if you guys go on YouTube, try to see if you can find his cameo in the Misery music video.
I know, I love that part.
It was not intentional, but he's there.
It's all right. Yeah. Really? I feel like he sticks out like a sore throat every time I see him. I'm like, there's Bon Bon.
Freaking Bond.
He's like this in the back.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I still never seen it. I've like tried to find it. And
Look
I can't
for
really.
it. There's a camera whip that goes too far where you guys are performing, and Bon was doing some behind the scenes. So you see, but
Really?
he's filming,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Or was he dancing? I
I've
don't
seen
know.
that music video 100 times.
Yeah, I know.
I've
Like you'll see
noticed
it.
that.
I think it might be Tommy might be in the clip too, and then it's like you just see
It is.
He's wearing like a green shirt or a Dodger hat or
He
something.
has a Dodger hat, yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
like-
I like that.
But I was like, I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, you can see him. I was like, but who cares? Like this video is so dope. Like I'm not gonna tell you to edit it out. Like.
I guess because I know we're probably approaching our time soon, but I want to hear from all you guys. I guess moving forward, I guess what are some of the things that you guys are excited to see in Calmgrove, and I guess how do you think it's gonna? what do you think you guys are going to be doing different, considering COVID? That's gonna that you think people are really going to be able to look forward to? Because obviously, you guys have talked about you guys have had more time to kind of go back and do demos and do all this stuff. I guess where do you guys feel like Calmgrove is going to now?
I think like one of the things that we did talk about earlier is like we kind of, you know, did the best that we could with what we have. I think every single one of us got a recording rig once everything closed down, whereas before I think it was just really only Tommy and Eric that were really able to record. So me and Daniel were able to get some recording equipment and start to contribute more ideas that way. So I think that that's one thing where we can 100% say moving forward on all the new songs is I think everybody had a little bit more creative effort. And then on top of that, like everyone was able to hear it and critique and change it. Whereas I think on earlier music, it was just like, okay, this song's done. Like, let's sprinkle some stuff on top of it and then move forward. Whereas I think now, like, everything's very direct and intentional, and we've had time to listen to it and play with it and change parts. And I think for me personally, it was just being able to plug into my laptop and just record and try ideas and things on my own. I got a little bit more creative this time, whereas typically, you know, we get into a room to write and Daniel or Tommy or Eric will have a guitar part, and I kind of just like, okay, what's the root note? And then just ride that most of the time. Whereas I think this time I was able to get a little bit more creative and we're able to say, hey, like, let's try this or let's do that instead, which so far, all the bass stuff that we've come up with for the new songs, I'm really excited about. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that I would say we're really looking forward to is like really kind of having, like you guys mentioned earlier, like we're always really intentional with the way that we roll things out. And I think that for sure is going to be said with these new songs is we're very intentional about kind of the way everything is.
That's cool, man. I would say like from all you guys, just from listening to you guys, like it sounds like you guys are really starting to evolve, like who Calmgrove is.
And also like personally, because I feel like that's a personal growth on you from this bass player that didn't feel like or like even this guy just like, oh, I appreciate music, but I don't know if I'm not born with it, you know, it just doesn't come naturally. To now, to now in a way you also have like evolved, and now you're like, okay.
I gotta say though too, like I'll never forget when Sean went in to record his bass parts in the EP, and like he just came in like fully prepared. Like, I know exactly what I'm gonna play. I'm gonna knock it out, and like he did that thing. Like we call it one take Jake, and I think you might have one take Jake a couple parts on each part. Yeah, like you came in swinging on that. So I'm excited to see what you're gonna do for the next songs too.
Sick.
It's exciting.
Yeah, I think other to go or talk more about how you said what we're gonna do differently now. I feel like from the get-go, like how Eric was talking about how we kept things in wraps and we wanted to like put our music out there on social media. I think from COVID we've kind of realized, because Eric's like a really good at social media, like he's definitely runs most of our social media, and I think with this we kind of realized, like, I mean, everyone knows that the power of social media is so strong. It's really how you do anything. So I think from this we really learned just really how to target our fan base and our audience and how to connect more. Not that we didn't before, but I think this has just really taught us like to use this tool, use every step of social media that we can in any way to get people to notice us and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's been freaking, it was so weird, like, because we love playing shows, and like that's our best way of meeting people and engaging, and like social media is cool and it's a great tool. But with like COVID hitting, and we're like, we can't do anything. So this is now our show platform.
Yeah.
So how are we going to use it? And like we've tried to do acoustic streams and it didn't happen. We're going to be doing one soon. But it's like, how else can we navigate this and be proactive without having to do live streams or this? So like we started making more merch, and we did playthroughs, and we did more update videos and whatnot too. And we have like a lot of other stuff we're sitting on still too. But it's just like, you got to just roll the punches. And yeah, it's been an uphill battle, but I think that we're doing an all right job.
Pretty cool.
Kind of to go off of what everyone's been saying. I mean, so I think the question was like, what do people have to look forward from us? I think, honestly, so the last thing people heard from us is like Light on Your End, and then the acoustic songs that we just put out.
Which were fire, by the way.
Thank you.
So were the music videos.
But,
Heck yeah.
hey, that's right. In this room.
Yeah, in this room.
Yeah,
On this couch.
But like, there was a lot of growth on that EP. Like the way that the songs sounded going into the studio versus how they sounded coming out was a lot of growth for like all of us. So to take those lessons and apply them to our next songs, I just think, yeah, like you guys said, sounds like we're evolving. I feel like we definitely are evolving. So I'm just stoked for people to hear the songs more than anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that too. Like we keep talking about how we're evolving. Like I would say, you know, for all the listeners and listen to this, like I would say expect kind of a new sound style from us, but it's definitely still Calmgrove. Like our vocals tied in, and we're still the same band, but we're definitely evolving as a band, and the music is still relatable in a sense to Light on Your End, but we're definitely, I wouldn't say so moving in a different direction, but we're definitely evolving our sound to, I would like to call maybe a more mature sound, just something that we feel like where we kind of always have wanted to go, essentially.
No, I mean I think that's good. Like, it seems like you're all of you are kind of having the same vision and where you see the band going, which is working out perfectly for you guys. But also, I don't think it necessarily hurts for you guys to go in a different direction or anything like that. It's like you guys said, we're saying it over and over, like evolving. And I think you guys are becoming like, when people listen to it, oh, that's Calmgrove. Or
Yeah,
if someone,
exactly.
or if someone tries to mimic it, oh, that sounds like Calmgrove.
Yep.
You know, and that's pretty exciting to hear. It's pretty cool.
In addition to all that, like we also just added a new drummer.
Yeah,
And I feel
yeah.
Oh
like
yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna add like a whole other seasoning to
Would you say you guys are pretty comfortable with him?
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely,
He
yeah.
came in and knew all our drum parts, and like we were like, yo, like you need to be in our band. Like we were like,
Okay.
like no, like there is no ands if like we want you to be our drummer. Like he came in and knew everything and added his little spice to it, and like it's just been a match made in band heaven.
We have to get him on the podcast whenever,
I
because I know
know.
he's a little bit further from here,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
he lives in Arizona.
Okay.
So it's kind of
Just
been
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's
Just
been
a little-
difficult, like
little bit
figuring
of a
out how
drive.
to jam with someone.
Yeah, we'll have to like zoom him in, but no, he's a great guy, and I like piggyback on everybody else said. Like I feel like now like we're like a five-headed monster, and like everyone has like their own little things. Like lately, Daniel's been sending so many ideas, and then Tommy like has a chance to like sit back and like think about it, like producing it. It's like, okay, what would I want to hear, and adds his spice to it. And then like Sean says, now he has time to add his bass parts. And then what's really cool is then we send it to Bryce, and then Bryce programs his drums, and he's like, okay, like these are subject to change, but here it is. And we're like, yo, like this sounds great. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, dang, I have to bring my A game now because these guys are all killing it. But,
It's awesome though because you guys all challenge each other.
Oh,
in the-
definitely.
in the
Definitely.
greatest ways.
and I think the greatest thing about it too is that like even though it's like we're challenging each other to bring out the best in each other, we're also like there to help each other. Like Tommy and I like work on melodies together, and there's like 3 bass players in this band, so we're all throwing bass lines back at each other.
Yeah,
So-
like to piggyback off that, like I would definitely say like we definitely do challenge each other. I know for me, maybe like in the middle of the summer, maybe in the beginning of summer, I was hitting like a huge writer's block. I just felt like I had almost nothing to contribute music wise, even to the point where Eric like kind of had to hit me up and be like, hey man, you know, like what's going on? Is everything all right? And I pretty much just told him, you know, like I've been having a hard time writing and stuff. And then I kind of, like Sean was saying earlier, tried to take it upon myself to do what I can to figure out how I can better myself as a musician. And then I feel like ever since then, it just takes like a little bit of push
No joke, like
from
he-
your friends, you know, to like just to get going. But like Eric was saying, we all help in other ways. Like we've only jammed with our new drummer twice. And he's been in the band for like half a year now,
Yeah.
maybe. And
honestly,
we've only
we
jammed with him
got him
twice.
in. We got him in, I think, 2 weeks before our release show in March.
Yeah.
We played that show, and then we did a live studio, live video. I don't even know how to call it, but yeah. And then quarantine happened like the day after that, and we were like, "Yo, what are we gonna do?" So we spent the first couple months shooting ideas, emailing back and forth. He came down in June. We jammed all those songs, got a really good feel for them, and then we're like, cool, like we'll record them, and then assuming that things were gonna get better, and they haven't really fully gotten better. So
And he's such a good songwriter as a drummer,
Yeah.
which is so hard to find.
Yeah, he's-
because we jammed with him one time. We took like a weekend, went out to our producer's studio, and I want to say all the song ideas we went in with were all like 60 seconds. Some of them were even only 30-second ideas, and he literally helped us turn them all into like 3-minute songs in like 2 days.
dang.
Yeah.
yeah, so we're sitting on some goodies.
I guess how is that kind of, before we come to an end. Like, how's that creative process been like throughout this whole season, COVID, and your drummer living in Arizona? Like, has it been kind of tough?
If you have a MacBook, you could GarageBand. There's so many programs to make drums now, so we could literally just send Bryce some guitar parts, and he could just click in drums.
Yeah.
It's definitely been like an accountability thing, like checking in like with our group chat is consistent every day. I don't think there's ever been one day since COVID where we haven't texted about, what's up, what are we all doing today, what are we doing tomorrow, when are we hanging out next.
And it's always like not even like band related. Sometimes we just send a funny GIF or talk about sports, Lakers, Dodgers, and then we're like, oh, like cool, like we're gonna do this week, or we're running this contest, or like how does this graphic look, and that usually gets the light burning.
And I also feel like kind of like a mantra of our band has also been like, there's no rush.
Yeah.
You know, like we've never been one to like rush things. We like taking our time.
Yeah.
We like letting things breathe, and
Oh
just
yeah, you guys took
letting
2
it
years
out.
before you went public.
Yeah, we took a year to.
I think it's just because like we're like friends first, and it's like, yo, like let's hang out, and then when we're hanging out, we're kind of like, oh, that would be kind of cool to do, or like
Yeah, it's so
maybe
important.
Yeah, and like
Love that.
it's just nice. And I was telling them too, I was like, dude, I haven't seen you guys like in like 3-4 weeks. I'm like, I'm so excited to see all you guys.
Yeah,
and it's
dude.
been nice.
Before we even started recording, like they were out there, hood of the Honda Element or whatever that car is. Open.
Yeah,
you guys are just chatting for a minute. And I was just like, that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be everyone comes separately and you're just waiting.
Like, have you seen that like little YouTube video of like the two kids like meeting up in kindergarten the first day? They haven't seen each other and like they're running the street.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
that's what I thought when I saw Tommy. I was like, Tommy. But yeah, man, like I think you said with the creative process, like it's been awesome, like sending ideas back and forth. But not gonna lie, like lyrically, COVID was like rough on me just because like I was like, oh, this is easy. Like I'm just chilling at home, like working a little bit. And then after a while, I was like, man, like when I try to write a song, like I either try to like write about what's going on or like a past experience. And then like with a past experience, I was putting myself in like a dark place, but then that was putting me mentally in a dark place like at that time. And I was like, maybe I can't write lyrics right now or this and that. So like, yeah, that was definitely the hard part for me. And I was like, you know what, like when it comes to me naturally, I'll do it. But like I'm not gonna force it because then it's gonna put me like in a rut, and I don't want to be in a rut.
Yeah, I do love though that our singer of the band is a teacher, because I will say like being a linguist, like our lyrics make sense, because there's a lot of music out there where the lyrics are just like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
I do a lot of typos in our group chat, but
Dude, I love that. No, I love it. Sounds like you guys honestly took what none of us really saw coming. You guys rolled with it, and I think because of the way that you guys even formed the band, what you guys value, how you guys naturally just vibe with each other, honestly, like COVID didn't really necessarily phase you guys as far as that goes. If anything, it only stretched you guys even more.
no, I think we just made it like a point for all five of us. We're like, we are gonna stay ready, because once the gates open up, like
Heck
we're
yeah.
gonna be ready to be like, yo, this is what we've been up to, and
I can't wait to go to you guys' next show.
oh, I cannot wait
We
to play our
can't
next
wait
show.
to play a show.
Yeah, I think that's like, I think this might be like the longest all of us together have like not been able to play a show.
Yeah.
This is the longest
For sure.
It's been more than half a year. Right?
Yeah.
This is Mother Nature's way of causing the hype that you guys have always had for your band from the beginning.
I hope so. I mean, there's a lot of good music coming out too, so
It'll definitely help, because like it's not only do we want to play shows, but if you just look online, like everyone just wants to go to shows
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I want to go to a concert like really bad. I want to see some live music.
Yeah.
So
We'll get back there. Don't worry, I have faith.
yeah,
Definitely have faith.
stay safe.
Thank you guys so much for coming. It means a lot to us.
Yes.
Thank you for having
fun
us.
time, dude.
Yeah.
This is great.
Before we close out, maybe you guys could just let us know what's going on with Calmgrove, what's something new, or what can we expect?
Well, if you're watching this, our reissue of our EP "Light on Your End" is out now via We Are Triumphant, so you can find that on all streaming platforms. It includes all 5 songs from the original EP plus the 2 acoustic songs that we recorded with our very own Tommy. So please check those out. Follow us on social media. And like we said, we've been working on a lot of music, so stay tuned and follow us. And yeah, I mean, we're going to get back to playing shows. So just, keep an eye out. And
I
anything
think
you guys
that
want to hit.
also means that you could also watch our live session
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll have a live session too.
at the last Magna.
Last Magna, yep.
Magna? I don't know how you say it.
Magana?
But yeah, the living room sessions. That's what you could search. Calmgrove.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, they'll be on our socials too, so you can see 2 songs off the EP that we did.
We've also been dropping a lot of new merch that
Yes.
Eric designs. It's all fire.
We have
We just
new-
picked some up today.
Yeah.
Hell
It's
yeah.
new
fire.
merch, and then that's when that is kind of selling out. We'll have another drop for you guys too. So yeah, just always keep an eye on that.
We'll have the links to their stuff in the description, and we really appreciate you guys for coming out. And I'm sure we're gonna have you guys back again sometime. Hopefully
Absolutely.
with Bryce too.
Yes, Bryce, if you're watching this, we miss you.
And we love you.
Yes.
I miss you too, and I haven't met you yet.
Thank you guys for watching.
All right, peace out, guys.
Go Dodgers, go Lakers.
Take your own